So, if you could protect pitchers and replace bad hitters with good ones, wouldn't you? Apparently, it's not so simple. And in the other corner, coming straight out of yesteryear, pitchers
Back in the good old days.
They've got 3 arguments too. 1, when a pitcher does hit well,
It's out of here! Bartolo has done it!
it's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure fans go crazy.
The great moments in baseball.
And some pitchers genuinely like to hit.
I don't want a universal DH. I like to hit and I like facing other pitchers.
2, having a pitcher in the lineup adds a whole host of strategies to managing a baseball game. We're not going to explain a double switch, but depending on which side of this argument you fall on, it's either the most tactically brilliant or ridiculously confusing thing you've ever witnessed at a ball game. Seriously, even some of the managers get confused by it.
Really?
3, the most important part of this argument, tradition.
Yeah, I had a feeling that tradition and how things had always been would
Every
play a factor.
fielder hits. That's the way baseball has always been played. Why change it? And there's the real question at the heart of this controversy. Should baseball change? Is the game enshrined in the past, perfect since its inception? Or should the rules have to evolve to suit the future? Tradition or evolution?
Yeah, that's definitely a good question. I think me personally, just kind of where I am currently in the video and just all the little bits I kind of research just about this kind of position and this kind of debate, I definitely think that I'm more on the side of this change and this change being a bit more kind of permanent within both sides of the league. Because I just feel like as things are progressing, there's different players which are adapting, different strategies, the mental side, the physical side, all of it is constantly evolving. And I feel like the rules should adjust to that as well. And so in this kind of constantly kind of changing environment within just MLB in general, I think maybe these kind of rules with this kind of DH kind of position really should be kind of a universal thing. But maybe as the video progresses, there may be some more things that are brought to light which maybe I didn't kind of consider. So let's see.
For the soul of baseball itself. We've been arguing about this for a long time.
Okay.
Pitchers didn't always exist as we know them today. The goal of the pitcher was to throw the ball so the batter could hit it.
Wow.
They were not opponents.
Pitchers weren't necessarily trying for strikeouts until the mid-1880s.
The called strike freed pitchers to throw faster, and with breaking balls, to get batters out. They began to focus more and more on their specialized craft, and they stopped working on their hitting. Thus began the long, slow descent to the hopeless pitcher at-bats we know today.
That ends the inning.
The designated hitter debate and the grumbling about pitchers being lousy hitters commenced in the 1880s.
Wow.
The first proposal for a
Wow, that's
designated
a long
hitter
time ago.
came from William Chase Temple, who was the owner of the Pittsburgh Club, while another owner proposed an 8-man batting lineup and 9 men in the field.
But traditionalism won out. The rules were the rules, and every player had to hit. So pitchers kept getting worse at hitting, but better at pitching. It reached a boiling point in 1968, the year of the pitcher. The second worst pitching team in the league that year was the Cincinnati Reds. They had an ERA of 3.56.
What would an ERA be? Like, of course, I know it's around pitching, but what would that stat kind of show and stuff like that? Definitely let me know in the comment section. In so many different terminologies and different stats that I'm still trying to kind of constantly learn. So definitely help me out, help me kind of learn what would that kind of mean?
In 2019, that would have been second best.
Oh,
The
okay.
lack of offense quickly became a lack of tickets sold. The game was getting boring. Something had to give.
Yeah, I mean, that
So they
makes
held the
sense.
vote.
Like, that's one thing I love about baseball, where you can see someone, that kind of duel between the pitcher and the batter, and then either the batter winning, scoring a home run, seeing like the fans going crazy, or maybe the pitcher winning and maybe like his teammates going crazy. I love that duel. So I can see if there's not designated hitters, a lot of fans may be seeing that it's a bit more boring and there's kind of no point kind of going to actually watch the match.
They held a vote. The results were strictly divided. The American League was for the DH, and the National League was against. The two sides made a deal. The AL could try the DH, for a 3-year experiment. In 1973, Ron Blomberg became the first designated hitter. The AL ended the season with a higher batting average, more runs scored, and most importantly, higher attendance.
What about those ticket
When
sales?
the 3-year trial was over, the American League teams didn't want to go back. The hard-hitting genie was out of the bottle.
People don't go to the baseball game to see pitchers hit. It's just very boring. It's a waste of time. I'm tired of the bunting. Give your team a chance for another home run.
You can't put it on the board. Yes!
None of that mattered to the National League teams, traditional hardliners who believed every fielder hits, the true stewards of the way the game was meant to be played. Right? Wrong. That's not at all what happened.
Okay.
Most people don't know how close the National League came to the DH. In 1980, the NL teams held a vote, and the pro DH teams had the numbers. Phillies Vice President Bill Giles was instructed to vote for the DH, but at the last minute, there was a slight adjustment to the terms. He tried to call Phillies owner Rolly Carpenter, but he was out on a fishing trip.
Oh my
Without guidance.
Couldn't you have just gone fishing, I don't know, the day after? Why do you have to get a representative? Like, what? You cannot make this up.
Without guidance, Giles abstained. The Pirates GM had been told to follow whatever the Phillies did.
Oh my God. So they're not even going to make their own decision based on, I don't know, some stats they've seen. Maybe they've seen, okay, that on the other side, other teams, they're getting a lot more fans, or, I don't know, different reasons. Just, okay, whatever this guy picks, we're going to pick that as well. Man.
And another abstention, and the DH lost by 1 vote. So ask yourself, if Rolly Carpenter hadn't gone fishing, would we still be arguing about this? You don't hear anyone arguing today about the pitcher's mound being lowered, or whether we should have outfield walls. No one has hot takes about interleague play. And remember this?
You can't expect even the umpire on the greatest night of his life to get right every time.
Yeah,
Okay,
instant
instant
replay didn't ruin baseball. The DH may or may not return in 2021, but think of this season as an experiment. You might even like it.
It's a chance to put another exciting bat in the lineup. Offense is going to be up. I think we're going to have an offensive explosion that can change the game.
Change is scary, but that's as much a tradition as anything else.
Okay, well, that was really interesting. Definitely was, I don't know, learn a bit more about that kind of position, a bit more about the debate, whether you're kind of for or against it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. I think for me, I still have that thought process, what I was saying in the middle of the video, that I'm definitely for having a DH in kind of both kind of conferences within the MLB. So I think it definitely makes it a lot more exciting, gets more fans there, makes it a bit more interesting, that whole duel between that pitcher and that batter. So I'm definitely all for it. And especially towards the end of that video, it showed a lot of things that had kind of changed of recent times. So they were talking about that instant replay and kind of the mound kind of lowering, getting that a bit lower. So lots of things have been changing, and with this new kind of flux of a lot more kind of younger kind of athletes who are really kind of revolutionizing the game from bits that I've kind of seen, it seems like there's just a lot changing within the MLB, and I feel like this could be another area which can just bring a lot more excitement to the sport. Whereas you can see other sports, for example NFL, which is constantly of course at the top of kind of American sports, and you have basketball, which is kind of coming on the rise in the last couple of years. So I feel like this could be an area that the MLB could actually implement, which can actually have a big impact in just the overall enjoyment, fans actually learning a bit more about the sport. It's not just me in England, might be some more people in America actually learning and actually getting into the sport a lot more. So definitely really interesting, lots of big changes in the MLB, but yeah, so I really enjoyed learning a bit more about that. Some of the bits that I've kind of been researching, I think it was showing that as of this season, the 2021 season, they haven't put that back, so it's not a universal kind of DH rule for this season. But definitely let me know if I am wrong, or definitely let me know what the latest news on this whole rule and position really is. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Just loving learning a bit more about this sport, learning a bit more about the history about this sport, some different controversies and debates. Definitely let me know in the comment section some recommendations. What would you guys like to see? What different reactions? What could I learn more about? What are different videos videos of what are different positions and terminologies that I can really learn about whilst I'm learning the basics of this sport. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe for more sports and sports psychology content just like this, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.